Our team, our community. This is CondorsTown, and this is another Energy Condors connection. Now, here's Erik Fox and Ryan Holt.
Thursday morning, 10 a.m. What up, B-Town? Ryan, I just caught you yawning, so
I wasn't yawning. I
don't think the coffee's kicked in for you yet, has it? Are you there?
Yeah, I was not a lot of sleep last night, so we're getting back after it.
Sleep's overrated. We know that thing.
Yeah.
Let's go jump into it. Every Thursday morning, 10 a.m., we connect up right here with the Energy Condors Connection, your chance to get caught up on all things CondorsTown. And, of course, a lot to talk about, but we always do. We first talk about the parent organization, which if you see on Ryan's left chest area, that would be the Oilers. So let's talk about that. We went into, of course, a Christmas break like all NHL teams did. They came back with the Battle of Alberta, which is always just a slobber knocker, to use an old, outdated term that I don't think anyone actually says outside of sports talk. But a slobber knocker is what they had, right?
Jim Ross would appreciate it. 47 saves from Stuart Skinner the other night. He was terrific, and that's why the Oilers won the game. Sometimes you need your goaltender to steal a game for you, and that's exactly what happened the other night in Calgary. So great win for the Oilers coming out of the break. They needed it over a Calgary team that's desperate as well, and now they go into Seattle on Friday night against a pretty good Kraken team, a team that's been in the the playoff bracket, I guess if you will, since opening night. So big test for them Friday night, but they'll start their West Coast swing here coming up Friday with Seattle.
It's crazy talk because at the beginning of the year, I mean, Kraken was really not in the picture. I mean, a lot of people were kind of dismissing them already. I know you didn't, but a lot of people did. And Kraken have been one of the surprises. Didn't know what Vegas would do this year. We kind of knew what some of the other teams would do. Ducks. But, it's been an interesting year where they're kind of middle of the pack. What do they need to do coming into the final stretch of the season?
Yeah, I think for Edmonton, I think it's been a little bit under probably expectations, I think, so far. I think this was a team that, probably was a surefire playoff team and now kind of is in a battle. But, it's a long season and, preseason prognostications don't always come to fruition. So for Seattle on the flip side, they get off to a great start. But, we saw this with New Jersey. They get off to a great start and then all of a sudden slip. Buffalo did the same thing. So, we'll see what happens with the Kraken, whether it's, sustainable over 82 games. We'll see. But you give yourself a shot if you're, kind of in the playoff positioning come Christmas time. And, that kind of puts you at the midway point of the year. And now all of a sudden you start to get some confidence. So they have some good pieces. Do I think they're a playoff team? I'm not sure. But they certainly have put themselves in a position to, be able to battle for it.
Let's talk about Edmonton. Obviously, probably a nice little break to have during the holidays because we do have an injury situation going on. Where do things stand right now?
Yeah, they got Ryan McLeod back the other night, so that's good. So that's a positive sign. Philip Broberg started skating, I think, this week, so that's another positive sign. That would kick somebody, I think, to Bakersfield, which hasn't happened for a month or 2 months now. So that's a positive sign for the entire organization. Anytime you get people back healthy, and looks like Ryan Murray's out for a little bit, but you get Broberg back and you get an extra defenseman and you already had 2 extra forwards. So now you have, a chance to, give some guys some more playing time here coming up in the future. So, good break and, great to have, McLeod back. He's a big part of what they do up in Edmonton.
Let's go and talk about the local situation because everything that happens up there affects us here. I think the theme has been back-to-back splits the last couple of weeks. Obviously, you had the Colorado back-to-back. We talked before Game 2 last week, where we won the first game, dropped the second one, and then this week, you had back-to-back, but you had traveling, where you had San Jose one night, then you came home to face, a rested team from Calgary. And last night was a rough one, but let's talk about what's happened the last week.
Yeah, I mean, the team's not going to make excuses. I can make excuses for them. It's, you play, in San Jose, you bust 4 hours, and Calgary's been sitting here for 24 hours just waiting for you. And, let's face it, that's a good Calgary team regardless. I mean, if both teams are rested, that's a good Calgary team. They have the, for my money, the best line in the American Hockey League. They've got a it's one of those lines with Peltier and Phillips and Zary that, is like an AHL plus line, like three guys who I don't know ever play significant amount of time in the NHL, but are dominant AHL players. For whatever reason, and Phillips just got a crack for the last 3 weeks and didn't really play for Calgary. But he's got I think a 9-game point streak, and he's got 20 points over that stretch and had 3 points last night. And Peltier had a goal and an assist, and I didn't even notice him much. It's a dominant line. It kind of reminds me of, Marody, Benson, and whoever you want to put in their wing over the last couple of years, whether it's, McLeod or Yamamoto, for the Condors. And even going back, you had, Russell, Malone, Gambardella, which was an AHL plus line and a line that could play against anybody in the league. So, it's a tough team to play against. They're very good. Regardless, you get them rested and they're even better. And unfortunately, the Condors kind of ran into the buzzsaw there, but it is a 3-2 game in the second period, and it got away obviously, but it's a 3-2 game, and the Condors had a couple of posts in the first period. I mean, do things go differently? I'm not sure, but at the end of the day, it is what it is, and you regroup and get back after it tomorrow.
So about the game last night and that second period, which I hope I'm not viewed as a bad totem, as Ryan and I were in the booth together last night for that second period last night. I just got to preface this before I get on my soapbox for a moment. I have officiated roller derby and a couple other sports, so I have refereeing background. But last night, it felt like the whistles really got swallowed, and the control of the game just seemed to get lost a little bit.
Yeah, there were a couple, iffy 50-50 hits, that I thought should have at least been penalized. I'm not saying throw them out of the game or anything. I'm just saying, let's just call a penalty here. Especially when you have penalties for other stuff. But, you put Calgary on the power play, it's, not a recipe for success. I think they're 9 for 16 against the Condors on the power play, which, isn't going to be a recipe for success anyways. But, it was, physical game. The Condors were, I think probably had tired legs later on as that game wore on. And, as a result, you take more penalties. So, I think it'll be a different game on Friday. Still a very good Calgary team on the other end. And, the Condors are certainly banged up.
I love how diplomatic you are. Why I just put the crankiness out there. But, of course, we did see 2 fights in the second period. So it's, even though we talked about this on the broadcast last night, even though they have donned Calgary on their names, it's hard to get lost where, that Stockton Heat, there was always that little animosity between these two squads.
Oh, yeah. I think anytime you play teams as much as, you do here in the Pacific, and we're going to play Calgary 4 out of our next 5 games. It was going to be 4 in a row until kind of that Ontario game got postponed for next week. So anytime you play a team 4 straight times, you're going to have, some bad blood and some animosity. And, even if, both teams don't even know each other. So you add in the fact that, it is who it is. And, you have that kind of, underlying current. So, like I said, right now it's about trying to find wins here. It's going to be a tough road here for the Condors. We only play 4 home games in January. We got 3 home games in February. So that's 7 home games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 7 out of 23 games are at home. So, we're very backloaded with home games. March and April, we're basically home the entire time. But January and February are going to be a grind here. So it would be good to get a couple of wins here before we hit the road next week.
Talking about wanting some wins, obviously today both the Condors and the Wranglers are in Baco. They're both just resting up a little bit. They're of course going to do their skates and all that. But what do the Condors need to do to prepare for that game on Friday? Where it was a beating, but you know what? They're not down and out.
Yeah, it's just 2 points, right? Jay Woodcroft used to always say that. Doesn't and he was a proponent of pulling the goalie when you were down 3-1 or 4-1. What did it matter? What you're losing by. So, for Bakersfield, it's about trying to find a lineup now. Savoy, Caldas, and Gildon all left that game last night. Doesn't look like any of them are going to be available come, tomorrow. So, now you have 3 guys out of your lineup, and for Bakersfield that pulls you down to 4 defensemen. At the moment, will there be a call up or 2? Probably. With flight issues, are they going to be able to get here in time? We'll see. So that's another wrinkle to that. So it's a different looking lineup now, I think, for the Condors. You'll get Bailey back. He arrived last night, so that's a boost offensively. But for Bakersfield, it's about trying to find a lineup, and then I think probably roll back with Rodrigue. I think give him another opportunity. He's deserved it and earned it. It's tough back-to-back last night. Obviously not his best performance, but the team in front of him wasn't that great either. So I think you roll back with Rodrigue, and we'll see what happens.
Of course, you're talking about clutch players that we may not have tomorrow night because we did have some people leave the ice last night. What's our injury situation currently look like besides even them?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We had just gotten back to full health, I think, pretty much. But you had guys have to play a lot of minutes last night just because of the fact that we had 3 guys out and I think 4 guys in the box for an extended period of time. So you're without a lot of guys. So to have that situation isn't great, especially with the travel and everything that's gone on here over the last week and a half. But this team will battle through it, and we'll have a fun night tomorrow night.
Of course, tomorrow night it is another home game, as once again Calgary is the opponent, and then we also have a home game coming up next Wednesday before you guys head to the other side of the border, where we have poutine talk here on the Condors Connection.
Yeah, and we have a couple off days up there too, so there'll be some Molsons and some poutine.
There you go. It's a duo. It's the Breakfast of Champions, they call that.
It's the Breakfast of Champions or something like that. Yeah.
So to end the year and start the new year, people can go check out the games here in CondorsTown. What do they need to do?
Yeah, how about this? We're closing out 2022 and starting 2023 with $2 beers. So, we'll start your hangover, and then we'll cure your hangover next Wednesday. So, $2 beers tomorrow night. We also have VR headsets to give away. We've got gamer gift cards to Xbox and PlayStation stores. So. Big night tomorrow night against Calgary, and then the makeup game is next Wednesday. So that game's not on your schedule if you printed one off at the beginning of the year. But January 4th, Wednesday night, 6:30. It's another $2 beer night against Ontario. Our final home game before we hit the road for just about all of January.
And of course, people want tickets. What do they got to do?
CondorsTown.com. We've got a Star Wars pack on sale now. It comes with 4 tickets to any game. You can use them in any quantity. In a Vinny Desharnais Star Wars themed bobblehead. It's pretty cool. He's like the puck's kind of floating over his hand. He's using the Force, and he's got a lightsaber looking thing in his hand as well too.
I'll have to get one of those for the set over here in my office, so we'll get that all dialed in. Ryan Holt for the Biggest of Condors. My name is Erik Fox, and yes, we're still getting along even after our little fun in the booth.
Yeah, we're gonna need some more goals out of you though next time.
All right, I'll work hard on that just for you. I'll go skate on the ice. I don't, if we get enough injuries, who knows? You may need me.
You never know when your name's going to be called.
And of course, every single week we get you caught up on all things CondorsTown, and that is happening right here on Facebook, YouTube, and even Twitch. So you people take a break from gaming, even though you're going to have gamer night on Friday, and join us on Twitch as well every single week. Ryan Holt, I always appreciate it, my friend.
Thanks, brother.
We'll see you next time with another edition of your Energy Condors Connection.